welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Constance. I'm the photographer behind Arabesque CLG. So if you followed me for a while, or if you scroll through my Instagram, you'll see that I've done museum visitor photography before. And I think it started when I was walking through Paris and went to the Musée de Pompidou. There were a couple exhibits that I wanted to go see there, and so I had my camera with me, and for some reason my eye just kept composing in such a way that I was analyzing how people were reacting to art piece, or yeah, it's kind of, it's funny because I don't know how to explain how I started it, but there was something about being in a museum where I just felt like it was like street photography, where the way that people were interacting in art and with art in such a location inspired me. And so I just started capturing people in museums and continue doing that, I think, almost every museum visit that I've been to. Additionally, I would share my favorite pieces of art, which you can see in my highlights, but that was really something that I enjoyed doing. And so I was really happy that that theme was selected in the poll, because it's something that I really miss doing, and I can't wait for museums to be open again. Not only to immerse myself in art and be inspired by it, but also have that immersion for museum visitor photography as well. And so I wanted to share 3 photographers that I discovered during confinement that I think are really great museum visitor photographers, and definitely worth noting, analyzing, and getting inspired from. So I hope you enjoy. So the first photographer I want to talk about is Casper Claassen, who is based in Amsterdam, Netherlands, and who does a series called Musea Series. And what I really enjoy about his photographs, and the 3 in particular that I selected to show you guys, is the use of the corners, the reactions of the people, and there's a couple things that I'm learning also from it. So first up is this one. Sorry for the reflections if there are any. So what's really interesting is that the person is not entirely in the corner, kind of between this corner and that corner, which is quite nice. The frames, which are on the right, are not fully exposed, which I thought was kind of peculiar, but I don't know, it seems like a natural photograph, like you kind of took it on the spot, because you were walking by and you saw this scene and you're like, I gotta get it, and it works. And then obviously the man that's falling asleep, I think it might be a museum tour guide, but unclear. But I just really enjoy this photograph a lot, especially because the man is also aligned, like his suit is aligned with the color of the wall and the ground and the column. And the column. So I really enjoy this photograph, and I think what it teaches me is that I don't need to always have the full artwork in it. I can have pieces of it if I play around with the room, which personally I haven't done yet, and I think that's a good lesson to have. Second one, which I really enjoy, is this one, which is a little boy in front of 3 paintings in a large blue room. What I enjoy is that the little boy is not in the center, like you're not right behind, with the bench perfectly centered and the pieces of art perfectly centered. Having a little bit of an angle kind of accentuates the space and makes it larger, and so kind of creates a bigger contrast between the size of the little boy and the rest of the room. What's also nice is that luckily the room is very blue, and the boy has an orange jacket which mimics the painting he's right in front, and oranges and blues are quite nice color combinations as well. And you also have enough of a line of the wooden ground where you kind of separate it into 3 scenes, which I always enjoy. And you know, you could have done it without it, but I think it adds a lot to it. And it's just perfect timing to have a little boy with orange mimicking what's in the painting and perfectly contrasting. And again, the little boy is perfectly angled under the line of the corner. So it's a different use of the corner, but it's kind of peculiar. So what I learned, at least from this particular picture, is using a lot, not just of the art itself, but using also the room, the gallery room, which I don't think I've done a lot of. I think I've usually done mostly the painting or the sculpture and a person or a group of people. So definitely something I learned. This one I really, really enjoy. I think I enjoy it also for the comedic aspect. And I think if you've ever been to a museum where there are large crowds, I think you might feel the same way. So it's this photograph where you have a large group of women looking at a piece of art, and this one woman who, I don't know if it's because she's like, I saw it, I'm good, or if she's like, I want to see it, but there's too many people around, but her face is kind of spot on. And what's nice is that there are other pieces of art which are in like this entryway. You're again in the corner. It's not perfectly parallel. It's not perfectly centered. It's a little off on the side, which is really enjoyable, that it's not like it doesn't look staged. It looks more natural. And the fact that everything is kind of barren, but you still see pieces of art there and they pop out more. And that perfect angle so that you have even more space between the group and her just accentuates the comedic effect. So definitely something that's worth noting. I haven't been good on, I would say, like comedic photographs, but definitely something I want to learn. So the second photographer that I wanted to talk about, yes, I'm looking at the ground because I'm sitting on the floor doing this video, but also I have everything in this notebook just to remind myself of the details. Also, if I pronounce any of these names incorrectly, please let me know. So the next photographer is Stefan Draskin, who's an Austrian who commutes between Vienna, Paris, Berlin, and Naples, and has a series called People Matching Artwork. And I think it's a friend of mine actually who had showed this to me a couple years back, but I rediscovered it during confinement. Definitely something I quite admire. Demands a lot of patience, but I mean, to get the photographs that he got, I mean, worthwhile. So the first photograph that I really enjoy is this one. So you have a dark blue or blue-gray with the beautiful painting and a man all dressed in white, including white hair, and a sculpture of a man all in white, including the hair. And it's just really interesting because I automatically look at the man looking at the piece of art because my eye usually goes for art pieces like painting. But then I kind of look at the landscape and the wheel of the carriage, and then I look at the man who's looking back at the museum visitor. And so it kind of creates this nice cycle as well. The next one that I really enjoy is this one. I mean, okay, so in the painting, you have 4 men with black hats, and he perfectly captured a woman all dressed in black with a black hat and was right behind this woman so that she's perfectly centered between these two, this duo and this sort of trio, but mostly the duos around the table, as if she's part of that table, as if she's an extension of that painting. I mean, the patience to get someone perfectly dressed and synonymous to the painting is insane, and something I would love to be aligned with. Like I had a couple photographs. I think there's one in front of a Picasso painting, which I'll put up here, where the person is in blue and the painting's in blue, but it doesn't have that same effect. Like this literally looks like an extension of the painting. And the other one that I really, really, really enjoy is this one. I mean, the painting itself, let's also admire the detail in it. The golds, the blues, the reds, all of the people, the angels, just the detail is insane. And the frame as well is beautiful. But then you also have this man who has as much detail in his coat and in the same colors. And it's like the chaos of the painting is being flashed upon on this man's coat. I mean, the patience and just the talent behind this is insane. And it's definitely something I would say to keep an eye out on. That, I mean, I definitely strive for that. So the last photographer I want to share is Elliott Erwitt. So he's a French-American born Magnum photographer and had a series called The Art of Looking at Art. And what I really enjoy is the comedic effect of his photographs. They're all in black and white, but there's something about the composition of it and the angles and point of view that just is spot on genius. So the first one is a photograph he took in Greece in 1963, which is this one, which I'm gonna try and have full. So obviously my eye goes straight to the man, the museum visitor, and then kind of goes up the sculpture's body. But having this, I think is a religious man, but I'm not sure. So I just, my assumption as someone who looked at the photograph, but the look of the person's face analyzing with the glasses in hand in front of a naked statue is just kind of comedic, I find, because he has a serious pondering face in front of a naked statue. I just really kind of enjoy the composition of that one. Second one that I really enjoy is from the Prado Museum in Madrid, Spain in 1995. So you have a group of men and a single woman. The group of men is looking at a painting of a woman that's naked. And the woman is looking at the exact copy of that painting, but with the woman with clothes on, which I think is really hilarious. I think having the juxtaposition of really the woman centered in the painting, but having that exact part of the painting appear in both. See how here he kind of took it in such a way that he still had a bit of spacing to have that part of the painting, so we understood the comedic effect of his photograph is just beautiful. And I think what that teaches me is not just to try and capture and this goes with the same photograph from before, it's not trying to capture the entire piece of art. It's working on the angle so that you play around with the crowds of the people that you have, and in that you'll be able to create some comedic effect, whether it's going through the legs of the sculpture or here having the exact same parts of the painting of the two copies mimic themselves, and just see that difference or note that difference and have the eye engage to note the difference of why there's that comedic effect. And the last one that's in here is from the Museo Nacional Centro de Arte Reina Sofia, which is in front of the Guernica painting by Pablo Picasso in 1995. This photograph was taken, and it kind of mimics the photograph that I showed you of the little boy in the blue room of Caspar Classen. Here's why. In this photograph, he took the entire painting, and it's known for being a very, very large painting, and had the little boy perfectly centered, but went back enough to have enough ground to create sort of that magnanimous room, imposing kind of size contrast. And I think that's what's really beautiful when you have large paintings and smaller, children, or when you have no one in a room to play on sort of you're getting immersed or getting overwhelmed by the art that you're seeing. And especially with this piece, that's such an important piece of art, it kind of emphasizes the weight of this particular painting and its impact that it can have on museum visitors. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely wanted to share these photographers that I found, rediscovered or discovered, and was inspired by, and why that was, and what my key takeaways are, because I think this craft is going to be a sort of long life evolution, and I definitely want to continue to be intellectually stimulated and curious and refueled with creativity, and share what I learn and where I'm challenging myself to go next. So I hope that you enjoyed, and definitely comment below which photograph or photographer was your favorite and why. I would love to get to know a little bit more about your photography perspective on this theme, and whether you enjoyed it or not. If there's something you want me to go more in depth on the next theme photography or this particular video. And if there's any challenge that you think I should go forth with around this theme, definitely comment below or DM me. I would love to know. I'm always looking for the next adventure, so hopefully soon. Fingers crossed that museum's open soon again. But in the meantime, I hope you're all good and safe amidst these difficult times, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.